Everyone keeps repeating the same sentence. Data is the new oil. It sounds powerful. It sounds intelligent. It sounds modern. But the more you think about it, the more you realize something is wrong with that comparison. Oil is extracted, refined, burned, consumed. Data behaves completely differently. And today, I want to challenge this popular narrative and replace it with something more accurate. Because how you think about data will shape how you build systems, how you build companies, and how you build your career. The phrase data is the new oil became popular after being used by Clive Humby, the British mathematician who helped pioneer customer analytics in retail. The meaning was simple. Data has economic value, and companies that control it gain power. And if we look at the modern digital economy, that seems true. Companies like Google, Amazon, and Meta built global dominance through data collection, analysis, and monetization. So the metaphor feels correct, but metaphors shape strategy. And this metaphor is misleading. Oil is a finite resource. Once you burn it, it is gone. It decreases with use. Data increases with use. When you analyze data, you do not destroy it. You generate insights. You create models. You build predictions. You create secondary data from primary data. Oil powers machines. Data powers decisions. That is a completely different economic behavior. Let's break this down deeper. First idea, data compounds. In finance, compounding is when growth builds on previous growth. Data behaves in a similar way. Consider recommendation systems. When Netflix tracks your viewing behavior, it does not just store that information. It feeds it into models that improve predictions. Your future recommendations become more accurate. Engagement increases. Retention increases. Revenue increases. Every interaction strengthens the system. The system becomes smarter over time. Oil does not become more powerful after you burn it. Data becomes more powerful after you process it. Second idea, data creates feedback loops. Modern AI systems are built on feedback. When users interact with platforms, they generate behavioral signals. Those signals improve algorithms. Improved algorithms attract more users. More users generate more signals. This loop is self-reinforcing. Look at ride-sharing platforms like Uber. The more drivers and riders participate, the more data the platform collects about traffic patterns, demand fluctuations, pricing elasticity, and geographic behavior. That data improves matching efficiency. Improved efficiency increases user satisfaction. That satisfaction attracts more users. This is not a simple resource extraction model. This is infrastructure scaling. Data is closer to electricity grids than oil wells. Once infrastructure is built, the marginal value of additional data can be extremely high. Third idea, data reduces uncertainty. Businesses do not want data because it looks impressive in dashboards. They want reduced uncertainty. Every executive decision carries risk. Launching a product, expanding into a new market, adjusting pricing, hiring staff. Without data, decisions rely on intuition. With data, decisions rely on probability. Analytics transforms vague questions into measurable variables. It transforms opinions into testable hypotheses. It transforms risk into quantifiable exposure. This is why the true value of data is not in charts. It is in confidence. Confidence to allocate capital. Confidence to automate. Confidence to scale. When companies build mature analytics functions, they are not building reporting departments. They are building decision engines. Fourth idea, data plus AI creates adaptive systems. The combination of large data sets and machine learning creates systems that improve autonomously. Organizations like OpenAI build large language models trained on massive data sets. These models learn patterns, structures, semantic relationships, and reasoning behaviors from data. The output improves with scale. The intelligence improves with exposure. Oil does not improve engines. Data improves intelligent systems. That difference changes everything. If data is oil, you focus on extraction and ownership. If data is infrastructure, you focus on architecture and flow. Infrastructure thinking asks different questions. How does data move across the organization? How is data governed? How is quality maintained? How do systems learn from this data? How do we create compounding value? This shift from extraction thinking to infrastructure thinking is critical for anyone working in analytics or AI today. Now let us talk about something uncomfortable. Many organizations collect massive amounts of data but generate very little value from it. Why? Because they are thinking like oil companies. They store data in silos. They measure storage capacity. They celebrate data volume. But volume is not value. Value comes from integration, from clean pipelines, from reliable governance, from strategic alignment. A warehouse full of crude oil has potential value. But without refining capability, distribution networks, and demand, it is useless. Similarly, a data lake without modeling, governance, and decision integration is just digital clutter. So if you're a data professional, what should you do differently? First, stop obsessing over tools. Tools change. Technologies evolve. Today is one framework. Tomorrow it is another. But system thinking does not expire. Learn how businesses create value. Understand how data connects to revenue, cost reduction, risk mitigation, and competitive advantage. Second, think in loops, not reports. Reports are static. Loops are dynamic. Ask yourself, does this analysis feed back into the system? Does it improve future performance? Does it change behavior? If your work produces a dashboard that no one uses to change action, you are not building infrastructure. You are producing decoration. Third, focus on data quality. Infrastructure collapses when foundations are weak. Poor data quality leads to flawed models. Flawed models lead to bad decisions. Bad decisions erode trust. Trust is the real currency in data organizations. Once executives stop trusting data outputs, the entire analytics function becomes irrelevant. Fourth, understand governance and ethics. Infrastructure must be reliable and safe. Data misuse, privacy violations, biased algorithms, these are not technical inconveniences. They are structural risks. When data becomes central to decision-making, governance becomes strategic, not optional. Now, let us zoom out. The global economy is transitioning from industrial dominance to informational dominance. Industrial power was built on physical infrastructure, roads, factories, oil pipelines. Digital power is built on informational infrastructure, cloud systems, data architectures, machine learning pipelines. Companies that master informational infrastructure outperform competitors not because they have more data, but because they extract more intelligence per unit of data. That is the real metric. Intelligence density. How much insight can you generate from your data ecosystem? How quickly can you adapt? How precisely can you predict? When you start thinking this way, you realize something powerful. Data is not a commodity. It is a capability, and capabilities compound. This also changes how you think about your own career. If you treat data like oil, you aim to be the extractor, the person who queries databases, the person who produces reports. If you treat data like infrastructure, you aim to be the architect, the person who designs systems, the person who enables decision intelligence across the organization. Architects create long-term leverage. Extractors perform tasks. One role scales, the other gets automated, and automation is accelerating. Routine reporting will continue to shrink as AI systems handle descriptive analytics automatically. We'll grow. Strategic interpretation, system design, ethical oversight, business alignment. The future belongs to people who can connect data to decisions and decisions to outcomes. So no, data is not the new oil. Oil fueled the industrial age. Data fuels the intelligence age. Oil was burned. Data learns. Oil depleted. Data compounds. Oil created machines. Data creates adaptive systems. And the organizations and professionals who understand this distinction will not just participate in the digital economy. They will shape it. In the next episode, we will discuss something equally provocative. Dashboards might be lying to you, not because the numbers are wrong, but because the story behind them is incomplete. And if you rely on incomplete stories, you build incomplete strategies. See you in the next episode.